Hi, I'm CJ Owens. I'm going to read to you the first chapter of my debut novel, Wuthering Hearts. Wuthering Hearts is a romance novel that is based on the Victorian classic Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Tropes we have are revenge dating, plus-size female main character, possessive playboy male main character. We have spice, we've got some groveling, we have a happily ever after, and let's not forget our cute little puppy Franny. She's precious. Since my novel is based on Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, I have an epigraph here to kind of set up the plot of my book. It reads, "Quarrel with Edgar if you please, Heathcliff, and deceive his sister. You'll hit on exactly the most efficient method of revenging yourself on me," said by Catherine Linton. This sets up the revenge aspect of the book, as Heathcliff decides to get his revenge on Catherine for what she did to him. My book has dual point of view, so first chapter is from the point of view of Isabella. My brother's taste in women has always been poor, but Catherine Earnshaw takes the cake. Excuse me, Catherine Linton now. Watching them swirl around the dance floor, her in a slinky ivory mermaid-style gown that leaves nothing to the imagination, is making me nauseous. Edgar can't take his eyes off of her. Despite my loathing, I will admit, she is gorgeous. Slender body, full lips, raven hair, legs for days, and a fake rack that would suffocate someone to death. Meanwhile, I'm over at table 2, all alone, pounding in my horrendous gold bridesmaid's dress that is not concealing my chubby body whatsoever. Clapping resounds as the happy couple finish their first dance. There won't be any father of the bride or mother of the groom dancing. Both our parents and Catherine's passed away before this day arrived. Mom would have adored Catherine, not the real Catherine, the fake one she puts on, to make everyone think she's just as beautiful on the inside as she is on the outside. They would have gone shopping together and had brunch dates every Sunday. Dad would have been proud of Edgar for snagging such a babe. It's ironic how he was the only one able to do so, since they passed away and left him the family fortune. I never could earn the respect or approval of our parents, but Edgar got it, just for existing. The firstborn, the son, the heir. Me, an accident, an oopsie baby, the one that only got in the way and took away time from their precious son. And my friends wonder why I wasn't absolutely devastated when my parents died. If anything, I was relieved. The whole venue is a testament to the phrase, money can't buy taste. Gigantic vases of red roses overpower each table, making it almost impossible to see the person across from you. Dark red and shiny gold decorate every surface. 2 absurdly large throne-like chairs sit at the front of the room with bride and groom sashes slung across the tops. Petals cover the floor and have been kicked into random piles by various guests, especially children. Gold tablecloths garishly reflect the light from several crystal chandeliers. The wedding cake stands several feet tall, a seemingly impossible creation, covered in roses, pearls, and edible gold. If it's expensive and it's for a wedding, Catherine bought it. Even the gown she's wearing, a $15,000 purchase, is actually her second dress of the evening. The ginormous Panina Tournay ball gown she bought for the ceremony was $20,000. Even as someone who grew up rich, that's just excessive. "Isabella, so good to see you!" Aunt Abby is upon me before I can make a move to run away. As the family gossip, she's the last person I want to see right now. "Aunt Abby, the pleasure is all mine," I say, lying through my teeth. My body stiffens as she plants herself in front of me. "Isn't this just the most beautiful wedding you've ever seen?" She gestures to the brash decor and then to the happy couple. "Oh yes, so beautiful. I really don't want to talk about this. I really don't want to talk about anything. I want to be left alone to suffer through this night." However, the people pleaser in me remains stationary, and I'm trapped, my chest tightening with each breath. "Don't be sad, dear." She casts a look of pity at me like I'm the last kitten in the shelter waiting to be adopted. "Your day will come soon enough." Behind her pity, I can feel condescension rolling off of her in waves. "I'm in no hurry," I respond, my smile tight. Besides, I want to say, we can't all be lucky enough to be on our third husband. You might want to be. Her tone turned sour. 25 isn't as young as you think it is. Back in my day, an unmarried woman at 25 was considered to be a spinster, a burden on her family. Damn, I didn't know Aunt Abby was 145 years old. You really should try harder, dear. She pats my shoulder consolingly before walking away to trigger someone else's anxiety and depression. Fortunately for her, I'm on my third glass of wine, so her insults don't penetrate nearly as deeply as she had intended. Unfortunately for me, now Catherine is making a beeline in my direction. I can feel my blood pressure rising as she approaches me. I just can't catch a break. There's no getting rid of me now, Bella. Catherine grins maliciously, towering over me in her 6-inch Louboutins. I despise being called Bella, and she knows it. Oh, drat, my evil plan failed, I say sarcastically, glaring at her with every fiber of my being. It's no secret that Catherine and I can't stand each other. Edgar had tried to make us get along multiple times to no avail. I see Catherine for who she is. He sees Catherine for who she pretends to be. You're so pitiful, she says, shaking her head at me. Couldn't even get a date to your own brother's wedding. The diamonds and rubies on her tiara shimmer and shine, giving her the appearance of an evil queen at court. I know she's trying to provoke me. I can't let her win. Unlike you, I don't need a man to be happy, I snipe. Sure, she laughs. Keep telling yourself that. Maybe one day it will be true. She holds up her hand to admire her expensive wedding ring. Not everyone can be as lucky as me. Lucky, evil, same thing, I mutter under my breath. She doesn't hear me, and I wouldn't care if she had. I'm so sick of her being in my life against my will. I loathe her very existence. When Edgar told me a year ago that he was marrying her, I knew things would never be the same. Catherine had bullied me all through high school, and her efforts continued online even after we were at separate colleges. Her constant beratement and slander have me wishing for her death on a daily basis. I don't know what I did to earn her hate, but now I'm stuck with it for the next several decades. You know, she says, a wicked smile on her lips. I've heard some guys actually prefer bigger women. It's some kind of kink or fetish, I think. The urge to slap her has never been stronger, and I've wanted to slap her at least once a week since we first met 10 years ago. You don't say. I keep my tone cool and collected. I refuse to let her know she's getting under my skin. Maybe one of them will come along one day and, well, I would say sweep you off your feet, but that's a rather large task. She laughs loudly at her grand jest. My vision goes red and I start to raise my hand. Fortunately for both of us, Edgar appears out of nowhere and prevents me from injuring his demonic bride. I exhale loudly and bottle my frustration for now. How are my two favorite ladies doing? Edgar interrupts our conversation, his eyes moving back and forth between us. His question is loaded with meaning. Edgar hates drawing attention or causing a scene, which is funny because those are Catherine's two favorite activities. Great, I say through gritted teeth. Wonderful, Edgar. I was just telling Bella how lovely she looks. Catherine smiles at Edgar and he melts like butter on a hot day. How thoughtful of you, my angel. Edgar kisses her proffered cheek and gives me an accusatory stare to let me know that any potential misunderstanding or drama is entirely my fault. Come, let's go cut the cake. He takes her hand and leads her away. She looks back and winks at me like we just shared some fantastic inside joke. As they cut the cake to tremendous applause, I drain the rest of my third glass of wine and head to the open bar for another. It's going to be a long night. Drinking alone? A deep voice comes from behind me. When I turn around, it takes everything I had not to drop my glass. He's tall, dark, and handsome personified. Broad shoulders, long, dark hair, well-kept, close-cropped beard, strong, muscular chest practically tearing through his white button-up shirt. His deep brown eyes pull me in right away, and I forget he asked me a question. He gestures towards my now full glass. Care for company? There's no way this man is talking to me. There has to be someone next to me or behind me. Seeing no one else, I hesitantly reply, Sure. Lead the way. He smiles, his perfect white teeth sparkling against his tanned skin. The mystery man follows me to my sad table and sits down next to me. He lays his suit jacket on the back of the chair, and I can't help but stare at his massive forearms, now revealed by his rolled-up shirt sleeves. I begin to question how much wine I've had. Is this some sort of drunken hallucination? He extends his right hand to introduce himself. I'm Heath Clifford. I'm Isabella Linton, Edgar's sister. I take his strong, warm hand in mine and reluctantly release it after a very prolonged handshake. I know, he says smugly. You do? My mouth falls open before I can stop myself. How does he know who I am, but I don't know who he is? Of course. It's my business to know people, especially when they are related to my new brother-in-law. He raises his dark eyebrows at my surprised expression. I didn't know Catherine had a sister, much less a super hot one. We've been estranged for the past few years. Technically, she's not really my sister, but we grew up together. I was a foster child. His candor catches me off guard. Oh, that explains the different last names. They didn't adopt you? Wait, don't answer that. That's way too personal. I take it back. Foot, meat, mouth. No, it's fine. He smiles ruefully. Mary was never a fan of mine, and Henry had the papers drawn up, but he passed away before they could be completed. The dejection in his voice almost brings tears to my eyes. I'm so sorry. That sucks. This poor man. Having to live with Catherine sounds like my own personal version of hell. I can't imagine the suffering he must have endured at her hands. The music changes to a slow song. Mainly couples remain on the floor. Heath looks at me, then at the dance floor. Care to dance? He slides into his jacket and extends his hand as I struggle to keep my jaw from hitting the floor. This sexy stranger wants to dance with me? To a romantic song? I'm drunk. Yep. Super drunk. There's no other explanation. Okay. I stand up, sucking in my stomach as far as it will go. Even with Spanx on underneath, I'm well aware of the slight bulge around my middle. He takes my hand and leads us to the floor. At the corner of my eye, I can see Edgar and Catherine twirling beautifully together. Heath grabs and lifts my hand, then places his other hand on my hip. His warmth radiates through the thin fabric of my dress. His hand is right on my hip, not even trying to go south. He's being quite the gentleman. With my face so close to his neck, the scent of his cologne overwhelms me in the best way. When I make eye contact with his smoldering dark eyes, it's like he can see into my soul, which is ridiculous and a bit of a cliche, but that's exactly what it feels like. His chin-length dark hair is tucked behind his ears, but a few strands have come loose. I resist the urge to put them where they belong. Even in the dim lighting of the ballroom, such a move is too intimate, too familiar. Suddenly, the couples next to us leave the floor, and in their place are Catherine and Edgar. Catherine looks surprised, though she is doing her best to remain calm and serene. Heath, she begins. Imagine my surprise at seeing you here. Honey, Edgar says in a hesitant voice, don't make a scene. Edgar, not now, she warns. Her voice is filled with unspoken threats I'm sure he's heard before. She holds her hand up in his direction and he backs off. Catherine, dear sister of mine, are you not happy to see me? Heath responds as we come to a stop in our dancing. A broad smirk graces his countenance. He is entirely unbothered by her appearance. In fact, he seems to relish it. On the contrary, she pauses. I'm very happy to see you, despite the fact that you weren't invited. She's speaking through a tight smile at this point. Catherine is 100% a bridezilla. I just assumed it got lost in the mail. Heath responds, coolly, adjusting his pocket square absent-mindedly. Even though we stopped dancing, we're still holding hands. I will not be the first to let go. You would think that, wouldn't you? She looks at me, then back to Heath. I see you've met my new sister-in-law, Bella. She smiled at the cat that ate the canary. So nice of you to take pity on her and dance with her. Poor thing couldn't get a date. My face burns with embarrassment. Of course Catherine is ruining this moment. Ruining my life is her favorite activity. Perhaps no man was worthy of her, Heath replies. If he wasn't holding me up, I would melt right here, right now. Oh, Heath, ever the gentleman. She laughs lightly and yanks him away from me and towards her. She's surprisingly strong for someone so petite. I hear Pilates will do that to you. I think you're done crashing my wedding. My heart sinks when Heath smiles down at her. He seems amused by her, like this is how he wants her to act towards him. What sort of weird sibling relationship is this? No need to get flustered, Catherine. I'll leave. I wouldn't want to ruin your night. There's a weird sort of pressure in the air. If someone had a match between them, it would ignite. He fixes his suit jacket and takes a step back to me. Pulling a business card from his pocket, he hands it to me with a flourish. My card. As I take the card, he grabs my hand and kisses it like some sort of chivalrous knight. I enjoyed our dance. His words immediately bring a flush to my face and warm my ears. Before I can respond, he's gone. Bella. Catherine's condescending tone brings me back to reality as I slip the card into my purse. What, Kathy? I can be just as snippy as she can. The wedding is basically over, and I'm tired of being polite. Heath is bad news. Stay away from him. She's pissed. I mean it. He's super charming and good-looking, but don't let that fool you. There's something behind her anger, but I can't tell what it is exactly. I'm a grown woman. I can make my own choices regarding who I spend my time with. My frustration is leaking into my voice at this point. Why should she care who I dance with or potentially date? I couldn't stop Edgar from being with her, no matter how much I tried, so she can just keep her unsolicited opinions to herself. Don't say I didn't warn you. Her eyes flash as she turns away. Come along, Edgar. Ignoring me completely, he follows her like a lost puppy. He is the very definition of whipped. Before Catherine, he and I had actually gotten along pretty well. If not for him providing me with an allowance, I would never have seen a dime of the family money. Even with his balls in Catherine's purse, he's still my brother, no matter how much distance she puts between us. Once I get back to my table, I pull out Heath's card. Heath Clifford, CEO, Wuthering Heights Holdings. Twirling the card in my hand, I contemplate Catherine's warning about Heath. I've had my heart broken before by charming men who turn out to be complete jerks. Can I take that chance again? The fact that he opened up to me right away about his past was refreshing and unexpected. He didn't have to tell me anything that was personal, especially since we just met. It's like he sought me out since he already knew who I was. Men have done that before in the hopes of getting their hands on the family fortune. Once it was publicized that Edgar inherited it all, the number of men asking me out dropped to none. If he's a CEO, there's no reason for him to be interested in me for the money. So what gives? It's been a long time since I went on a date, much less had a relationship. The past year has been spent advancing my career, volunteering at the animal shelter, and serving Catherine's every whim getting ready for today. I'm annoyed by all the couples dancing, looking so happy and in love. That could have been me, if not for Catherine, the bane of my existence. She has everyone fooled, but I know the real her. She's been the boss of me for too long. I won't let her push me around anymore. I add Heath's number to my contacts and spend the rest of the night getting super drunk.